Hello everyone, today I am sharing with you 3 hidden perks of studying in the USA. To be honest, studying in the USA was one of the best experiences ever. It was my first experience living abroad. I went there when I was very little, and to be fair, I went there to study abroad. So let me express a little bit my thoughts on studying university in America and also let you know a bit of my journey. So I went to study abroad in America at the age of 17 years old, and I did my bachelor's degree, so the 4 years of bachelor's degree in the States. I am originally from Madrid, Spain, so I was an international student for 4 years, and I went to Rutgers University, which is a very big university in the state of New Jersey. So I had a lovely time. It was a lot of work, but I had a lovely experience, and I am going to share the main things that I enjoyed as an international student going to the US from Spain. By the way, you might notice that I have a British accent, and that might confuse you a little bit. So after I graduated, I moved to London, where I have been living and working for quite a few years already. So that's why I have a British accent at the moment. So now let's get to the perks. So first perk of going to America as an international student is the diversity of courses. So for me, I very much enjoyed having such a big diversity in the type of courses I could take. I basically, in Spain, I couldn't pick enough courses to really give myself a broad education. So for example, if I chose the major or the degree of journalism, I cannot actually take courses that are part of the music department or the science department. However, in the US, especially your freshman year, the education is quite broad, and in fact you're required to take classes that are not just of your major. I enjoyed that quite a lot, and if you're doing a bachelor's degree, just keep that in mind. So your first year, your freshman year, will be quite broad. You will be required to take maths lessons, you will be required to take writing courses, you will be probably required to take science, even if you're not majoring in science. And there is quite a lot of variety in the type of courses that you can take. So I recommend that you have a look at, the type of courses your dream university offers, because chances are that you can benefit from the variety of courses, departments, and different subjects that you can take at uni. So that's one of the things that I enjoy the most. If I would have stayed in Spain, I know that my curriculum for my bachelor's degree would have been a lot more narrow than it was, and it helped me decide, because at the age of 17, 19 or 18 years old, you do not know really what you want to do. You think you do, but let's face it, at the age of 18 we are so young. We have only lived with our parents, and the chances of you knowing for sure what you want to do for the rest of your life are quite small. So I appreciate having an educational system that can actually give me opportunity and allow me to discover myself at university, as opposed to just commitment into whatever I choose before joining university. So that's my first one. So the second thing I really enjoyed about studying in the USA as an international student is also being able to change my major. So I actually started going for journalism. That's what I started signing up for. But as I took different courses, as I saw myself performing at university, I realized that maybe I could actually enjoy more business. And for example, if I would have stayed in Spain, I know that change would not have been possible. I would have needed to just start from scratch, literally, like start from year 1 at university if I wanted to do business. But thankfully in the US, that's one of the things that you can do explore. And at least at Rutgers University, which is where I went, I could declare my major a bit later. So I had time to apply to the business school and change my major. And I did that. And once I got into the business school, which is very competitive, I actually changed my major. I confirmed it and I ended up going for business. So that opportunity is very beneficial, especially when you're so young. Again, do not think that all degrees are like that. Like, for example, if you do your master's, don't think that necessarily you are going to be able to do that, because I can only speak for myself and my experience. And I know that, with a bachelor's degree at a pretty big institution, you can. So I recommend that you keep that in mind, because it was so beneficial for me at my age. And it helped me find myself and make sure that I was fully happy with the degree that I was choosing. So another hidden perk about US universities is that they do value hard work. And I know that maybe that's difficult to understand to international students that come from Europe, for example, like me. At least in Spain, I feel like universities do not give as much scholarships. Maybe there are not that many opportunities to fund your studies. It's also true that studies in Europe are generally much more affordable than studies in America. But at the same time, I feel like if you are very successful, whether that is academically or because you are a very talented athlete, then you might be able to qualify for a scholarship. And some scholarships are open to international students. So I recommend that you keep that in mind, because a lot of people, for example, they judge the US because it's very expensive. And yes, that's one of the main challenges and the main problems that we face as international students specifically. But you can actually also earn yourself scholarships and basically financial help that can help you towards funding your studies. So you do have to consider who you are and what your skills are. And like I previously mentioned earlier, America is a country that doesn't just value academic performance. For example, if you're a very gifted athlete, you might be able to qualify for a very, very lucrative scholarship. So those are things to keep in mind, because it's true that not all countries give scholarships to students because of a talent that's not academic, but that's not necessarily the case in America. So keep that in mind, because that's one of the main benefits of US universities. Moving to the USA as an international student was my first expat experience. It was a total culture shock, because their culture is so different to my native culture, which is the Spanish culture. But it was certainly a very, very beautiful experience. And I hope that some of you who want to also study abroad in America or become an international student in America also experience the benefits of US universities. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more related content and speak to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.